What's shaking? Hey, I'm Rick Jordan. Today, we're going all in. How to ruin your life in 4 simple steps. Now, some of you might be triggered or defensive already, but you know what? Listen to this whole thing with me and then share it, because if it's not you, right? I get it, right? You uncover stuff. Sometimes you're like, whoa. I'm not ready to deal with that stuff yet because of whatever. I get that. But at the same time, maybe you're in a good spot, but you're also thinking, hey, maybe this is something that I see somebody I really care about doing. You know, one of these 4 things I'm going to go through today and how it's ruining their life. So this could be a thing to where it's like you're compassionate and you can share this with a few people, 1 person, 5 people, whatever, to help them see some things, right? Because it's interesting when you're close to somebody, it's always where your advice or what you see, unless that person is in an open place to where they're not having walls up, they can actually listen to you. It's very difficult for that sometimes, especially if it's somebody that's you're in love with, or somebody that's like a family member, a close family member. It's tough, right? Or your best friend from childhood. It's really difficult. So today, as I go through these things, take a look at yourself, yes. And also think about people that you can send this to, because this is important today. I've talked about some of these things before, but maybe not in this framing, right? It's more like I did one a year ago, or like 7 reasons you feel like crap, right? Well, that was like how your body feels and all that. But today we're going to talk about the outcomes of how it's so easy to ruin your life in just like 4 simple areas. So the first one we're going to talk about how you could ruin your life is neglecting your health. I don't know if you've ever heard the phrase, but it's like a healthy person has 1,000 wishes. An unhealthy person has just 1 wish, and that's to be healthy. I've been in that state before. I've had a dead organ sucking life out of other organs. I know what that feels like. And I tell you, for that 8 months, I wanted nothing more. I had 1 single wish, was to just be healthy again. Maybe you've been in that phrase, maybe you've got migraines or something. You've had them straight for 3 months or something like that. Or maybe you've been feeling depressed. You just have not been yourself. And that's a mental health thing. And you're just thinking, man, I just have 1 wish right now. And that's to be me again, to feel like me again. I'm telling you, if there's no intention into your health, you are neglecting your health, which is ruining your life. What does this look like? Okay, you're skipping the gym. You're choosing junk food. You're turning nights into like sleepless ventures. You're binging Netflix all the time, or Max, or whatever. You're scrolling through reel upon reel upon reel, instead of devoting that time towards something that can not only feed your body in a healthy way, whether it's exercise, whether it's the right foods, but also feeding your mind in the right way. This is one of the very easy ways to slip into ruining your life, is removing intention from your health. Health is your biggest advantage to going forward. Look at all the studies. Muscle mass is something that is directly related to longevity. And I'm not saying you have to pump it up and build huge biceps and thighs and all of this stuff, but you have to have muscle mass in order to tie that to longevity and actually accomplish the things that you want to in life. I don't think anybody wants to go when they're 40, when they're 50, when they're 60. You're thinking, I'm going to be around for a long time. This is a way you won't be, is when you neglect your health. You are ruining your life. And it's impossible to show up for other people, especially when your mental health is not there. And your mental health, you ready for this? Your mental health is directly related to your physical health. The more you exercise, the more blood flow gets flowing through your body. You're able to think clearer. There's a reason why when I go on TV shows, or even like Tony Robbins, right? I jump up and down 10 times. Tony Robbins jumps on a mini trampoline like 50 times before he goes up on stage. It's to get the blood flowing to his brain, to get the blood flowing to my brain. I do that even before I record these shows a lot, or before I go on a news appearance. But this is something, it's as little as 30 minutes, 3 times a week. That's it. Getting your heart rate up. Watch the difference. Let this be your wake-up call that there is no more neglecting your health, because you are ruining your life by not putting intention into being active and being mentally fed. The second easy way that you're ruining your life, the simple step that will just derail you, is mismanaging your money. Now, I'm not talking about being a penny pincher to where you squeeze your ass cheeks and there's like tiny little nickels that come out. No, because you're that tight. You have to spend in order to have fun. You have to have money in order to have resources in order to get what you want to do. But I'm talking on spending it on frivolous things. I'll give you a story here. One of my very first clients, his name is Brad Freilich. He won't mind me mentioning him. He owns 6 Buffalo Wild Wings, including one in Chicago that when it opened for a period of like 3 or 4 years was the highest revenue producing, highest money making Buffalo Wild Wings in the entire country. The dude ran it right, still does, still owns them. He bought a new house, right? And he's like, Rick, I need your advice. One of my very first clients in my consultancy business. I need your advice, Rick. I'm taking a look at cable internet or I'm taking a look at DSL, right? DSL really isn't around anymore. This was like a story from maybe 8 years ago, okay? But it was around then. It might be still in some places, but it's not as prevalent. Now we got Starlink, everything else. He's like, one's like 100 meg. Today we got he's like, one's 100 meg and the other is 25. The 100 meg from the cable company Comcast is like $100 a month, man. The 25 is like $25. He's like, I want to know if I really need it because I don't want to, and this is a guy that is a multimillionaire. I need to put this in perspective for you. He is a multimillionaire and he's talking about the difference between 25 and $100 a month. This is a guy who has some amazing vehicles, even like a 1967 Corvette, restored it, right? It has all the discretionary income and can pretty much spend money on anything he wants. Has a couple of houses, a boats, some amazing cars. I mean, it's like you look at him and it's like he's the picture of the 1%. But yet he's telling me, he's like, hey man, I just want to save like $75. I just want to save $50. This is a dude who's smart with his money. He's not mismanaging his money and just going for gold or going for the highest level of whatever just because it's the highest level of whatever. These are people, if you want to listen to an episode that aired a couple weeks ago with Steve Sims, listen back to that. It's like all these Instagram people who rent the Lambos, right? Or buy the Lambo and are car broke because they just want to have some badass photos on Instagram. They want to create a great TikTok to where they're showing their stuff off and like, look, this is it. Most of them don't even own those, right? But then there was some people that would actually buy them and they're like, yeah, look at my car. You know, I'm doing all this stuff and wasting money on private jets and all these things. It's horrible. You can listen to that show. And I even said I had to fly private like twice. And the only reason is because I needed to get to a certain space and time and there was no commercial flights between these cities. I hated doing it because it was the difference. It was only like an hour-long flight. It was the difference between a $3,000 flight private and a $300 flight commercial. But there just wasn't any commercial flights. I hated doing that. Even though I have money. You might have money or you might think you have money, but you might be spending it in the wrong places, which means you're mismanaging it. A lot of business owners do this, by the way. If you're an entrepreneur and you're listening to this right now, a lot of business owners will rape their business and take all the money out. This has to do with you too. I am talking to you. I see this in all the P&Ls I look at from companies that I might want to buy, that they're sucking out all the cash and they can't figure out why they've plateaued. The reason is because they've never reinvested. They look at that as like their personal piggy bank. The only way to grow and scale is to continuously reinvest. That's how you're ruining your life, is you're mismanaging your money. Now, if you have a budget, that's awesome. If you don't have a budget, you might want to think about one. You might want to skim back on Taco Bell or the other fast food. Or you know what are those Starbucks drinks? I mean, it's Christmas season again. Now, you know, they just came out with the peppermint mochas again. They're good, right? They got pumpkin spice too, some PSL. But hey, that sugar content is high. And those things are like $7. Imagine stopping there every single day. How much that adds up and what you could be reinvesting if it's not into your business. It can be into some education. You could buy a course. You can learn something new, and then you can make more money. Always make sure you are reinvesting in yourself. That's the number one way. And that could be even taking a vacation. That could be even taking a vacation. And notice how all of this, if you're mismanaging your money, you're probably neglecting your health too, because it costs money to get the right gym equipment, to have a personal trainer, to even just have a gym membership to begin with. So if you're spending $70, $100 a month on Starbucks, on PSLs, rather than going to the gym, you're mismanaging your money and you're neglecting your health, and most importantly, you are ruining your life. Number 3, the easy way is to isolate yourself socially. Now, this is not an argument between extrovert, introvert, all of that, but I tell you what, there's a reason why there's trillions of people on the planet. Trillions, billions, I don't know. I'm probably misspeaking right now, but I don't care. There's a lot of people on the planet. There's a reason why there's so many people on the planet, and it's because we're meant to engage with other people. Now, I'm not talking about separating yourself because you've been with people and you need a break from people. I get that. I do that. Even though on, like the 16 personalities, because I was literally like 96% extrovert. But I got that 4%, and it's like once a month, I got to retract myself and I got to recharge. I love being around people. It feeds me. I get that that's not the same with most people or maybe half the people. At the same time, if you are intentionally isolating yourself socially, you are avoiding social gatherings, you're not maintaining your friendships, you never reach out to family, and you embrace solitude as your only companion. Now, notice I said your only companion. There is importance in taking time for yourself, in retracting for a moment to get your own inner peace. That's valuable. That's actually good for your mental health. That's actually good. That's versus number 1 is neglecting your health. But isolating yourself socially when you are isolating because you might feel bad about something, because you're self-judging, and because you may have low self-esteem, I'll never be good enough. No matter what I do isn't good enough. Well, get around people that are going to lift you up. That's the only way you pull yourself out of this stuff. It's very difficult to pull you out of these things by yourself. You need the support of other people who genuinely care for you and will call you out on your shit. When you isolate yourself, you remove yourself from people who want to help you. You remove yourself from resources of friends, family, business associates, new connections, building a network. When you isolate yourself socially, those are gone and you ruin your life. You will only get so far by yourself. I did a show a while back about the lone wolf. It is not good to be the lone wolf. There's strength when you're around people, the right people. There is strength when you're around people. The opposite of that is ruining your life when you isolate yourself socially. And the last one, which I talked about a little bit as far as mismanaging your money, is you stop your own personal development. Remember, I was talking about when you manage your money right, you're able to reinvest in things like your business and even more importantly, yourself. You need to be consistently growing, consistently feeding, consistently energizing your brain with new content, new ideas, new creativity. If you're not doing that, you are ruining your life, period, because you are stuck in one single spot. And I don't care how old you are, if you're 18 or if you're 88, this is something you can continue doing. And you know how I was talking about neglecting your health in the first one? How muscle mass, the amount of muscle mass you have is directly tied to longevity. The amount that you continue to learn is also tied to mental longevity. If you stop your personal development, your brain is no longer utilized. This is something called neuroplasticity. When it comes to neuroscience, you have to keep activating these parts of your brain. Guys, this is proven science. When you activate these parts in your brain, they stay pliable. They stay almost like jello to where they can absorb new information. When you don't use it and you stop your personal development, you'll say, I'm good. That's where you are the rest of your life. And not only do you stop, you begin to decline, which will ruin your life. You will not be able to keep up with everybody else. You will not be able to compete with anybody else. You will be stuck in the same job with the same money, with maybe like a 3 or 4% annual increase. If you're an entrepreneur, your business will also plateau here. You might add maybe 5% a year, but you're never going to realize the wealth that you wanted because you stopped your personal development and you're just going through the motions and ruining your life. Look, I get this stuff is heavy hitting. I understand that. But this is all stuff that I've had to face in my life too at times, to be like, man. And once I started these things, it's like, good Lord, why did I neglect myself? Why did I disrespect myself for so long? I could have been so much further ahead, but you know what? Regrets are for losers. All right? Allow yourself to feel it. Don't ignore the regret. You have to allow yourself to feel it, but hanging on to that regret forever keeps you locked in that same place. That's number 4, is ceasing personal development. You actually have to let yourself feel the regret and the missed opportunities and the lost chances before you can move on. That's part of it. So if you're just ignoring it and not dealing with it, not grieving, you are putting yourself in a position to where your life stays there and you're missing out, not on everything that you already missed out on, but also about everything to come. By not allowing yourself to feel that, but then you adjust and you move forward. Stop ruining your life. These are 4 easy ways that we slide into. It still pulls at me. These still pull at me, especially with how much I travel, like neglecting your health. I need to be intentional. I need to make sure I pack my gym shorts, my gym shirt, the right shoes to make sure I can still work out while I'm on the road. It's intentional. I need to always keep an eye on my money, even though that's sometimes a hard one. How many of you don't like to look at your bank accounts, right? When you mismanage your money, you ruin your life. When you isolate yourself socially all the time, when you're like, I got it on my own, I'm a lone wolf, stop that. You're not a lone wolf. You're somebody who thinks that brings you strength, but that's actually the biggest weakness that's ruining your life. And the last, ceasing personal development. You need to do this because this is the way you continue to grow and continue to have your brain function when you're 80 and have those conversations that you want to have with your grandkids about how you were successful in life. Now get after it, okay? Today's the day that you can shift. Let's go.